Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to run number 18. We have a very special guest, Chief of Department Edward Mullen Jr., well, really the fourth, of Perth Amboy Fire Department and Iselin, Station 9. Fire Chief Edward Mullen is a fourth-generation firefighter. He began his fire service career in Iselin Fire District number 9 in Woodbridge Township in 2001. He quickly rose through the ranks and served as chief of department in 2014, excuse me. Chief Mullen began serving the City of Perth Amboy as a volunteer firefighter in 2002 and as a full-time EMT in 2002 as well. He was appointed to the fire department in Perth Amboy's uniform division in 2004. In 2010, he promoted to lieutenant, followed by the rank of captain in 2011. And in October of 2013, Chief Mullen was promoted to Battalion Chief and assigned to as the administrative chief, responsible for the department's day-to-day operations. In 2017, Ed was named acting chief of department until his promotion became permanent in February of 2019. In his time as chief in Perth Amboy Fire Department has secured several large dollar grants, making it possible to add staffing, rejuvenate the apparatus fleet, and acquire specialized equipment and training to provide adding to the department's scope of service for the community. Chief Mullen is a graduate of the New Jersey City University with a bachelor's degree in fire science. He is certified by the state of New Jersey as a level 3 incident commander, a level 2 fire instructor, hazmat incident commander, fire investigator, and fire official. Chief Mullen is the 2023 recipient of the New Jersey Deputy and Battalion Chiefs Association Fire Chief of the Year Award. Without further ado, Chief Ed Mullen, Jr. Hey, Chief, how are you tonight?
Oh, good evening. This is my first time doing something like this, so
I know, I
thanks
love
for
it.
bringing me on after a couple of requests.
I love it. Ha! I got him first. So, how are you? How's
I'm
everything
good.
going?
I'm good.
So, where did it all start?
Oh, my background. This is the one thing I didn't really want to do is talk about myself, but I do have a rich history in public safety. So I know you sent you a picture, but this story doesn't really begin when I was a kid, or my dad was a kid, or my grandpa was a kid. But my great grandfather Ed the First, he served Perth Amboy for 50 years, and he was the fire chief, Perth Amboy volunteer firefighter back in 1953. So my roots go 100 years into the city of Perth Amboy, and then beyond that, Ed J. Jr. the second served Perth Amboy Police Department. He was the police chief throughout the 80s and until he retired. And then my father's been a firefighter since he was 18 years. He started in Perth Amboy 1971 to 75, and then has been in Iselin for about 48 years. So I
Now
grew up in
there's
the firehouse. So if you're the son or a daughter of a firefighter, it's kind of in your DNA. So when you first experience the firehouse, and I think that was probably literally when I was probably a few weeks old. I would have been around the firehouse, so I always knew it was going to be something I was going to do. But I grew up in the Island Firehouse in the Menlo Park section of District 9, which was considered House 2. Yellow fire trucks, beautiful yellow fire trucks. I still love them. And it's something that and I always hung around my father in the firehouse. And as I became with like the teenage years, 14, 15 years old, I saw probably some people that as explorers in the fire department. So when I was
yeah.
16, I joined the Explorer Post, and I got to actually train, get turnout gear, bright orange helmet, and actually ride on the fire truck, going to fire calls at the age of 16 and the age of 17. And this is something I didn't know was going to become a career one day, because growing up in a volunteer fire station, he was an accountant full time.
Yeah.
And this is what he did. Nights, weekends, ran out. And if I was in his car, we'd go to the firehouse. I'd sit, watch the fire truck go out. Or if he's working at the firehouse, sit there, just hanging out. And actually being able to ride on the trucks as an explorer was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, I'm going to do this forever. But when I was there as an explorer, there was a couple firefighters there that were also paid firefighters. One that is Terry Kennedy. I think you know him, and prior guest you had, Dave,
Dave,
I saw
right.
him doing something. He was a federal firefighter. So I was like, oh, wow, when I get out of high school, maybe I could become a federal firefighter. But as I was introduced to him and some other members of the department that were paid firefighters, I learned certain towns had paid firefighters and whatnot. So once I became 18, I went to the fire academy while I was a senior in St. Joe's in Metuchen. I got my Fire 1 before I even graduated. And,
Okay.
I was fortunate to get a scholarship to New Jersey City University. So I went to school, got a 4-year degree in fire science. But when I was 18 and I go to school, it's like I had a DJ business, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So when it comes to public speaking, I was on the microphone for 25 years, emceeing weddings and whatnot. But uh, yeah, I got a job over at Station 7, which dispatches the 9 fire companies, and it was the 7 first aid squads in Woodbridge. So I was a nighttime dispatcher going to school during the day. And the summer of, I think it was probably 2000, uh, I saw a civil service application for EMT in Perth Amboy. And I had gotten my EMT a few years earlier, and I applied. And then right around that time, during the summer, Perth Amboy put out an article saying firefighters needed. I guess they exhausted their entire list. So both my grandmas still lived in Perth Amboy, and I made the decision. Hey, I'm going to resign from Iselin, move to Perth Amboy, commit everything to there. I became an active volunteer. The end of forget was it 2002 maybe, and literally got a full-time EMT position. And then a couple years later, got hired as a career firefighter back in 2004. So it was in my DNA to become a
Absolutely.
firefighter. Didn't know where or what, but I'm fortunate enough to do it in 2 different places.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, now, what year because I know way back when your great grandfather was chief, Perth Amboy was combination, but to the to the volunteer side. What year did they transition to a career chief?
The first career chief, it got reorganized in 1999. So in
Okay.
1999, there was a major reorganization. So it was always a combination department. Our department goes back to
Horses.
1881. Yeah, horses and carriages. Some of the
Yeah.
firehouses that still stand, it's like, oh, that was designed for a horse trailing something. But yeah, it goes back in every company. There used to be, I believe, 10 companies. So there's 6 engine companies, 4 ladder companies. Each had a driver, and then a crew of 30 or 40 volunteers. So
Yeah.
it's a tremendously large volunteer base. And then I guess they had the bell system with the game well boxes, and depending where in the city was, they'd bring that, and then the person in the control room would dispatch the companies. And like I said, that's the way it operated for many, many years. And then the city just grew, became busier. And then in 1999, after a few different studies, it was reorganized. So it took the power from a volunteer chief to a career fire chief. And in 99 is really when this current chapter of the Perth Amboy Fire Department began.
Now, real quick, if not to cut in or lose your train of thought, but for people who aren't familiar with the department, can you give us a brief rundown of where you're at now, where you guys are at?
Oh, yeah. Right now,
Size of the city and
size of the city, we're a little under 5 square miles, 55,000 residents. We just passed New Brunswick as the largest city in Middlesex County, I think by like 100 people in the 2020 census. So we got that. It's literally, it's a beautiful city by the bay. Our basketball team is the Bay City Bomberos. It's a lot of fun to play on that team, but we got the beautiful waterfront. It's a mix of, you name the type of occupancy is there. I think the only thing that we do not have is an airport, but got everything from single family homes to large apartment buildings with 36 units to high rises. We had 3 petroleum storage terminals, 2 Buckeye terminals and a Kinder Morgan terminal, train station, one of the county hospitals. It's a very tight, close knit, or close together urban city.
and how about the here's a picture of it in the background. Now how about the department?
Oh, the
You guys
department currently, as of today, because we just swore in an additional 18 firefighters this past Friday. Our staffing or full career department is 84 personnel. So I've got a chief, 7 battalion chiefs, 16 captains, and 60 firefighters.
okay, so what's that give you during a regular shift? Two engines, a truck.
Yeah, we staff 2 engine companies, a truck company, and a rescue company. And if
All right.
everybody's in, once the probies are done with their in-station training, there'll be 5 personnel on both engines, 5 personnel in the truck, 4 in the rescue, plus a battalion chief. And then during the week, we're really staffed heavy. I got the forward administration, which is me, my operations battalion chief, my training battalion chief, and my fire official, who's a captain. And on top of that, we have off-duty firefighters that do fire prevention. So during the week, on a full day, you could have 27 people on duty.
Jesus, how big is that lunch table?
It's not big enough, and that's one of the things I got to do in the future. I'll tell you that. But it comes a long way back. Talking 25 years ago,
Yeah.
it could have been 8 people on a shift, 9 people on a shift. Even as far back as 2009, 2010, there was days that we worked with 6, 7 people covering the
Yeah.
whole city. And when I first got hired in 2004, we were at 2 engines, 2 trucks, the rescue, and shift commander, but it'd be 2 people on an apparatus. So it'd be a driver and a firefighter, driver, a firefighter, driver, and officer. And you came up to fires. You didn't have companies, but you always got the job done. And I fought a lot of fires. Either you're by yourself on the hose line, or the other engine's bringing the other hose line, or eventually you team up. But we always got the job done. It just was not the safest as it should be.
We have a picture or a video of
Which one's
something.
this?
The 97.
Oh, this is a video from one of my firefighters, cement truck, who used to run fire above video. But this is a video from 97, just the old days of how a lot of combination departments operated. I don't know if you're able to pull it up. Well, the video, if you're able to get it, it showed it.
Here we go.
Trying something new on this one, right?
Yeah.
Edition number 18, try to get videos up. But it shows an engine and a truck dispatched to a house fire, and it has a driver on each. And the first engine, he pumps the line, the truck pulls up, the guy puts his gear on, puts his pack on, fights the fire. Those initial minutes, they fought the fire with 2 people.
Wild.
It's definitely wild, but that's the way it was prior to 99. Got a lot better after 99. And my commitment to the City of Perth Amboy, to the members of my department, is we're going to try to give you the best staffing so that you're safe on the fire ground.
And we'll bring up the this Washington Street one that you were talking about earlier.
I didn't see anything pop up for the last one. Is it showing on your screen?
I thought I was sharing. Oh,
you just showed. Let's see. I'll tell you if I see it.
Here's the 97 one again.
No, it's not. It's not popping up.
No. No, it's not letting me do it.
All right, we'll worry about that later. We can share links in the
yeah.
in the bio.
I'll post the links in the bio after the show.
But yeah, it shows you the transition and a tremendous. Oh, the screen just changed.
Yeah.
And it changed. But out of those 84 members, most of the volunteer division was hired. So we lost a large volunteer base, but now we have, instead of waiting for people to get to fire scenes, they're now on duty. So our response has just become amazing compared to what it was, 5 years ago versus 10 years ago versus 25 years ago versus 27 years ago.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, you and Chief Petrie did great. Have been doing great. Did great things in the last decade and a half to bring the department from 9 members to where you are now. It's huge. How are you doing it? Like,
it's taking time, and I guess a big moral of this story is because people will see us, and in a little while I'll talk about what to do for your department to praise your members and be a cheerleader for your members. But this did not happen overnight. This happened over the course of 25 years. Starting with Chief Catano, then Chief Folk, then Chief Petrie, then me. I'm just continuing it. Making it better where we left off.
Absolutely, better than you found it.
Exactly.
as we
Well,
can see.
hey, we could do just a nice nice comparison. But back in '99, not only when was the fire department reorganized, that's when members came together to find new things to do to serve the community. And one of the highlights to me, because Rescue One is my baby, but they started the Special Operations Division. So you had members of the department that wanted to go way above and beyond firefighting, and they started the Special Operations Team. So this was the old shift commander's car they repurposed as Squad 6. So Squad 6 had its counterpart, which was Car 9, if you flip to slide number 2. So the Special Operations Team responded to technical rescue incidents with those two vehicles. And I like to
Now
highlight this because it
this
shows you
was
how
the shift
far
commander's
we've come.
car.
Yeah, back in the late 80s, that was the shift commander vehicle.
Oh, that's right. That's Donnie Rue used to tell me
Yep,
about.
that's the vehicle that he had, and then it switched to a Chevy Suburban, I think, in the '90s at some point. But they repurposed, they took what they had, and they did an amazing job at doing something new. So that laid the foundation for the special operations team that we have today. But we had the bread truck, had all the rope stuff, confined space stuff. This was a used truck that the chief or somebody had purchased to put additional equipment on. We were expanding. We were getting the trench rescue, building collapse, anything that we could do, we wanted to do. And this was before, I believe, there was the UASC rescue trucks out there, the UASC program. So we were the big city in the area, and we wanted a service to provide not only to Perth Amboy, but the surrounding areas. So we were getting the equipment, then we got the trucks. And then in 2003, this NYPD style ESU truck was placed in service. It was the first fire department technically rescue truck. And if you look on the front corner bumper, you see the little one in a circle. I think they didn't want to compete with the first aid squad because the first aid squad had Rescue 95. There it is. So down the road, Rescue One, that was in service 24/7, 2 guys. That was the truck we wanted to be on because it went to every single call, every first responder assignment. If you're a firefighter, that's what you wanted to be on. That's what I was ultimately assigned to. And then later in the 2010s, there was no longer, when they got rid of EMS in 2008, 2009, this truck was just sitting there. And me and Abe were like, let's make this the next special ops truck. So we got rid of the bread truck. We got rid of Squad 6. We didn't have that Rescue 2 anymore. And we put all the confined space, high angle style equipment on this. So Rescue 1 was running. And then this was like the backup truck. So this was sort of modernizing where special ops was going, still using equipment from the past. And then fast forward to 2020, we got our 4th brand new apparatus of the decade, which is an actual true rescue company, which is Rescue One, which is like I said, that's my baby there. But that has specifically what we needed. So that's equipped for not only firefighting, but extrication, man versus machine, high angle rescue, confined space rescue, water rescue, ice rescue, and we're about to put some dive equipment on there. The collapse equipment, the trench stuff, we're going to be putting that in an additional unit that we had in the budget this year to purchase. So that's not stuff that you need going out the door every day. It's not really going to be a life and death situation, but somebody hanging from a building or in a car or in the water, that's life and death. So we want to be able to have that equipment on wheels, ready to go 24/7. So our special ops team staffs Rescue One.
Now, do you guys respond? I know it's technically port authorities, but do you guys go to the outer bridge at all for incidents?
Yeah, we'll have an occasional car accident or an occasional car fire, and we're a lot closer to the bridge than FDNY. I think it's the Tottenville station. So I remember in my time, pulling up on the bridge with, maybe 6 firefighters on 2 companies fighting a car fire. Then here comes FDNY walking up with 12 guys on their 2 companies.
Trucks.
Yeah, off 2 trucks. So it's like, oh, it's amazing the manpower that certain cities have. And but as I said, little did I know, fast forward to 2024, we'll be riding with five members on a company. So, and then the other thing is, like, that's I highlighted special operations, but aside from special operations, the other big division was the Marine Division. I didn't send you pictures of that, but that started with a 1969 Boston whaler. We did a boat dedication the beginning of April. But like I said, members took an old first aid squad boat, painted it red. It was basically the fire department fire rescue boat. It was docked at the marina. There was no other fire boats in that area at the time. That was way before Homeland Security and whatnot. So they responded on calls on a Boston whaler. It evolved into a jet ski to get quick response. And then in 2005, the department through the county got a grant for our original fireboat, which was a 39-foot Metalcraft Marine, jet-driven boat, which was awesome. And that basically shows how the Marine Division evolved into, now we got the brand new Marine 5, which is the Captain Mike Barczewski the second. Twin 3,000 GPM pumps can probably float 10,000 GPM out in the water if we had to. So, Special Ops Marine Division. We got the dive team. Port Security funded our dive team. I got a lot of dedicated divers and tenders on that team. Fire Prevention Bureau, Fire Safety Education, and like I said, we got a foam tender. It's like every little element of fire service we're able to do. And there's not many fire departments in New Jersey for a department
Minus
our
the
size.
ambulance.
We do first responder. We just don't have the ambulance. Yeah.
That's
So
all
we
right. I'm okay with first responder. The selling point is not being on the ambulance. That's for the young guys. That's the selling point.
If it's in your department and you got to do it, you got to do it. You have a job. So,
State civil service test is coming out soon.
Yeah, but it's like I said, we do it all for a little department, and I'm really proud of all the members. I'm proud of all the guys that are retired that laid the foundations for these divisions to what it built up to today. And I still got great relationships with everybody that's retired. The first career fire chief is actually the police chief right now, so I work hand in hand with him, and he's the OEM director. But he's a wealth of knowledge, and it's a great counterpart to protecting the city of Perth Amboy.
Absolutely. So do you have? You just had some promotions come up. I saw
we did.
Chief Arroyo.
Yeah, Chief Rezes and Chief Arroyo.
That's awesome.
Last year was a very historic year for us. We built up, and Don Rue. Yeah. Back in the old days of Perth Amboy, there was just one officer on duty, and that's when they had 5, 6, 7 firehouses. So it was one officer, have to check in all the firehouses all day, running the city. When I got hired,
and he carried the extrication tool.
Yep, exactly. He told you those stories. So
he told me that
multi-purpose.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, they. He used to tell me all the time. He's like, yeah, and if I was running a fire scene, and there was an extrication on 440, they had to call mutual aid.
Yeah, that's just like I said. But they always got the job done. And probably never complained, and they always did a great job. So it's a great history of this department.
Well, he actually went back to when there was layoffs in Perth Amboy. He was actually a guy that was laid off for a while.
Like the 60s or 70s or 80s. I don't even know. That was a long time. They laid off a lot of people.
Yeah. He I want to say he was out for like 3 years or something like that. But I mean, to come from that to where you guys have brought your department now, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, because there was just one officer that it became. When I got hired, there was a shift commander at headquarters, and Station 1 on Convery had one. So there's 2 officers. If one was off, he dropped to 1. And then after Chief Petrie passed away, we had 2 officers on a shift. I was able to get an additional officer. So we had a battalion chief and 2 captains. And then a few years later, I was able to get an additional captain. So we had 4 companies, but only 3 captains. And then that was the final chapter of the supervision pie of our department. Was last year we got 4 additional captains made, including our first female fire captain, Captain Bonilla, awesome Navy veteran. And then last year we were able to actually have a battalion chief that runs the city and 4 true companies, riding 1 and 3.
That's awesome.
And then this past week we had 2 battalion chiefs. I had a battalion chief Zilka retired the other year, so I replaced him, and then Battalion Chief Arroyo does a phenomenal job as the training division, and it was prior a chief's position, so he earned that as well. So I got Chief Gonzalez and Chief Arroyo. They're my 2 administrative chiefs.
That's awesome. That's and like you said, during the day you have everybody there.
Oh yeah, and if they say, trust me, our department, if they say report of a fire in our house system, that smoke or fire tone is a different alerting system. I don't know if it's how you have that at work, but the second you hear that deep tone, it's basically fire department respond.
It's on.
I'm down, and I'm on the 3rd floor. I go down, 1 pole, get off, 2nd pole, and I'm usually out the door. We don't just sit in our office and wait for people to get on scene. We want to go to work. We want to go on calls, and that gives you additional fire officers on scene, to fill out every possible supervisory role to make it as safe as can be for the members.
Phenomenal. Now, do you have a designated safety officer, or
we don't have a designated? because depending on the day, if a captain's off, we only have so much money. So there might
Okay.
be one company without a captain. So if the fire
You
official
ride
who's
up.
a captain gets on scene, hey, engine 2 doesn't have their officer today, go follow up there. And then if
Okay.
I'm my destination is car 1, I usually go to the command post. I take out the command board. If the battalion chief is got everything under control, I just sort of step back into coordinate mutual aid or additional resources coming in, take care of accountability. Car 2 will go in and be an interior supervisor, just making sure everything's going on. And then,
Okay.
car 3 or 4, we could plug in as a safety officer or a Charlie side supervisor. So as it's needed, we have the personnel, but it's not designated because every situation is different. So,
Yeah.
but we
Okay.
have the resources to literally appoint that, just not spelled out who's going to do that role. And we
Okay.
have additional people coming in, additional officers on top of that too.
Okay. Oh, to be 10 years younger.
Yeah, and one good thing is I think we're very unique for city department because, like I said, we have 84 members. You compare us to New Brunswick. New Brunswick, I think, has 100, 610 members.
Something like that.
Other departments that have smaller population, less runs are in the hundreds. So
Yeah.
we do a lot with less. But well, one thing when Abe and I took over back in 2013 was you say the words working fire on a scene. So you get on scene, it's chugging away with smoke or there's fire blowing out multiple windows. You give your size up. I'm very big on clear, concise size ups, and we'll talk about that with a seminar coming up. But you say
Okay.
upgrade this to a working fire. That automatically out of the incident commander's mouth, because everybody has a radio of their own, take home radio, and we use I'm responding. So everybody's phone's going off when there's a reported fire. They're
Okay.
listening. You say upgrade this to a working fire. 10 firefighters and 3 officers have the green light for overtime. They have to hit respond now, and I'm responding. Refresh it in the order they clicked it, and it staffs an additional 2 engines and a ladder company. So those guys are coming to the firehouse literally within 30 seconds of you saying upgrade this to a working fire. You have 13 members going to the firehouse before a Hopalong Casby in South Amboy are even called. And we're able to get a reserve engine and a reserve ladder in service very quick. So that 27 during the day just bumped that response up to 40, which is tremendously safer than 6 members back in the 90s and 2000s when you said transmit
Yeah.
a second alarm. All right, overtime for 1 person for the control room. And there's all these guys at home sitting, but that's before you had take home radios, sitting there like wishing they could go to work their days off. But now, if you're hungry to go to work and you're missing your shift doesn't catch the jobs, you could be getting overtime for those jobs, so.
Yeah.
But we think way outside the box, like I said, with fire prevention, with calling that working fire. Like we use our manpower and resources, I think, more efficient than anyone else, and I'm very proud of it.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into that. You guys, the City of Perth Amboy used to have a separate fire prevention bureau.
It was under code enforcement, correct?
It was under code enforcement, and then I believe what was it under Chief Petrie? You guys took it over in the fire department.
No. They moved it into the firehouse when they were closing city buildings in the 2010 area. So it was in our building. It didn't come onto the fire department until 2000 and was it 19 maybe?
Okay.
So I think we might have absorbed them somewhere towards the end, but when the fire official retired, 2019 is when we officially took it over with uniformed personnel.
So now I gotta bring up this picture. I see hundreds of multiple dwellings. I see hundreds of commercial properties, industrial properties back here. I know you got refineries and railroads. What was the fire prevention program like? The staffing and stuff back then
Well,
before it came under the fire department.
they had 2 part-time inspectors and a full-time fire official. So they were conducting all the life hazard inspections required by the state and code compliances when a property was sold. But there's only so much they could do.
Yeah, that's huge city.
Yep.
It's very densely populated. So now, what do you have now?
Well, we have about 20 firefighters and fire officers. They got their fire inspector license, and the fire official, he's there Monday to Friday. His office is between me and the ops battalion chief. So I just opened my door and I could see him. He's that important. And with the firefighters are scheduled their days off duty to conduct fire inspections. So there's 3 to 4 members a day doing inspections. And I think last year we did well over 5,000 inspections, but there's a tremendous amount of 3-family, 4-family,
Yeah.
5-family, occupancies, and a lot of commercial occupancies. So the Fire Prevention Bureau is one of the trophies that has to be given to the members of this department because they've made the city such a safer place these
Yeah.
past 5 years. And initially, when you're going, hey, I think there's over 1,000 commercial occupancies that weren't not getting inspected. So just think, if you owned a business or a 3-family or a 12-family, you name it, and you bought that building 30 years ago and you never had an inspection. Now the Fire Prevention Bureaus come and knock on your door. Hey, we're here to inspect. Now, if your property wasn't inspected for 30 years, 10 years, 20 years, you name it, you probably have a violation or 30. I'm just gonna just say it like that. So they weren't very happy with what was happening. So now that we're in the 5th year of fire prevention, and a lot of these properties were at the 3rd time, the 4th time, the 5th time, there's minimal violations. They understand the importance of having a building with no fire hazards, and they have a certificate of compliance for insurance purposes. God forbid something happens. Hey, my building was up to code, and we're just making sure that all the occupants have working smoke alarms, working CO alarms, fire extinguishers. If there's a sprinkler system, that got the test reports. One big thing we ran into was windowless basements. A lot of buildings did not have a monitored windowless basement system, which cost a pretty significant amount of money. So we had to cite that code. And like I said, we've made these buildings safer one at a time. And the work's not done because there's still a lot of properties that we got to get to. There's only so much you can get to.
Yeah.
But this year we'll probably end the year with about 6,000 inspections. And that goes hand in hand with our suppression response. If a fire breaks out and a detector activates, it's going to alert the residents. They're going to be able to get out while they're conscious, call 911. We get there. Hey, it's a light smoke condition. Hey, bring a water can in, bring a line in, and whatnot. We just, save minimal, no relocation needed. And versus a fire breaking out, and now you have a neighbor calling it in, and you're pulling it up. You have exposure problems, possibly people inside. So just a property owner knowing that his building was inspected, whether it be a business or a residential occupancy, should be able to sleep at night. And that was one thing I told our city council is like, now that fire prevention is under the fire department, I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that our city is safe. And as these years have gone by, I can say, look, the results are there. We still go to more calls than ever, but the large fires you just do not see. And the ones that you do see are probably ones that started outside.
Yeah.
Due to a carelessly discarded cigarette that took a garbage pile, went up to vinyl siding. Those are really the ones that you'll see now. But then again, we get there quick enough, so nobody's broadcasting live from Perth Amboy saying, "Look at this blaze." So just hand in hand, fire prevention goes with fire suppression, and it makes for a very successful result. So I just got to shout out to our mayor, our administration, our council, because I've been very blessed. Mayor Diaz was amazing. Prior to Mayor Cava, and Mayor Cava has been nothing but amazing. They've given us the resources we've needed to expand the apparatus, the equipment, everything. But they've all let us apply for the grants that we've gotten.
Yeah,
so
phenomenal.
And
not even let you apply for them, but supported you and endorsed them when they came in. A lot of people don't realize that factor, that even if you get it, the town or the fire district, whoever your governing body is, still has to accept that grant.
That's correct. Yeah, we have a step. We have a step even before you apply. We got to request permission from the administrator. Can we put in for this? Then we need a city council resolution to approve a grant application before you even write it. So there's a lot of steps. So there might be places that put in grant applications where administration doesn't know they put in for it. So
yeah, exactly.
You have to. The bottom line is, regardless of who's in the positions of power above you, you have to have good relationships with them. You have to work hand in hand. FMBA President Ed Donnelly, love him, but he says the department has to work well with the administration, which has to work well with the elected officials. And if you have those three working together, then possibilities may be endless.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm very blessed, and my situation, our situation, might not work for every town. We might have hit the mega millions and got lucky with everything the way it's lined up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And a big part of that is capture, like Chief Yar down in Lakewood keeps saying, you got to capture that data and communicate that to the authority having jurisdiction, and to the people that don't know what we do and what we need. And that's usually the mayor and council, or some towns it's fire district commissioners. They don't understand what we need. Some of them do, some of them don't. But if you're not putting that data out there, how do they go to the taxpayers and say, hey, I need to give the fire department $1 million?
Yeah,
Taxes are going up a penny.
Yeah, it's really hard, and like I said, it all depends on what, if you're career volunteer, if you're in a fire district, you're in a township, you're in a city, like a regional, like everything's dependent, because like I said, if they got to raise taxes 1 penny, it might not work. So you got to figure out alternatives to make the department safer or get to what you need.
Absolutely. I have to stop and tell you that the comments are blowing up. The likes and thumbs up and hearts are blowing up compared to what I've had on other shows.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up on my Facebook and let's see.
Oh, no. If you look up in the comments over on the side of the screen, there should be a
look at
comments
that.
thing. Yeah, it looks like, I guess, Battalion 3 is watching.
Oh, that means they got it up on the day room. Shout out to Battalion 3. Our shifts are not called Tour A, Tour 1, Group A, Group 1. Like 10 plus years ago, we renamed the battalion. So Battalion 1, 2, 3, 4 are the shifts. They each have their own patch. So Battalion 3 is working today. I guess we're up on the day room. So what's up, guys?
I didn't know if I should tell you about that or not.
I didn't even know there was. I saw the private chat listed on the side. I didn't see the comments. So that's cool.
All right. So you want to move along to the seminars and the organizations?
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Things
talk
you're
about
doing outside of the department, or
yeah. I would love to highlight a bunch of associations, but first we'll talk about the Fire and EMS Institute. This is an article that Ron Jeffers put in the First Responder newspaper after a seminar last year. I was asked to sort of help the New Jersey Fire and EMS Institute out. They're an organization, used to be called the New Jersey Fire Congressional Institute, and each state is supposed to have one. They meet, I think, in DC once a year to go over like legislation and important stuff in the fire service. But the past president back prior to 2015 was a guy by the name of Carl Christensen. Carl Christensen was the Board of Fire Commissioners president, ex-chief in Iselin, a plumber, and one of the people that I grew up with, looking up to, because he was the senior guy in the firehouse. He died in 2015 from cancer. So keeping that in the back of my head. Fast forward to Baltimore Firehouse Expo. That was the greatest thing ever. I grew up, go to Firehouse Expo all the time. I miss it so much, and I can't believe it's 14 or 12 hours away from where it's at now. But I saw a guy by the name of Chief Brian Frieders from the Firefighter Cancer Support Network teach a class on cancer prevention at Baltimore Firehouse Expo. And the class, tons of empty chairs, but there was a big attendance. And he talked about some things you could do in the firehouse that I never even thought of. And I'm tying immediately with Carl Christensen, who passed away from cancer. And he says basically, hey, when you're working in the firehouse, you got to go to the bathroom. Do you wash your hands first? And you're thinking, it's like, huh? It's like you walked around the firehouse, touched the fire truck, touched your gear, you got carcinogens on your hand, and now you're touching your private parts before you go to the bathroom. Then you wash your hand. You just exposed, your abdomen and genitalia to carcinogens, which is, I think, 300 times more likely to develop cancer in a firefighter than a normal civilian. So it's like, oh wow, got to put it out there. Hey, so if everybody's listening and you're in the firehouse, make sure you wash your hands before you go to the bathroom. You just reduce that risk. But he taught a bunch of very important messages there. One of his key phrases is, hey, are those bugles or are they plungers on your collar? So that stuck to me forever. I brought that video back to Perth Amboy, showed the 4 shifts, and we instituted like an 11-point cancer prevention policy in the firehouse. We're fortunate to have 2 sets of gear. I think most fire departments in the state, or should have 2 sets of gear. Wash your gear after every fire. We could preach it, but if you didn't just hear me say, "Hey, wash your hands before you go to your bathroom," were you going to be thinking about that? 2 o'clock in the morning when you came back from a car fire? No. So
Yeah.
just little things to think about. So when the Fire and EMS Institute, who is just getting reformed by these 5 families of the fire service, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. I was like, I got some ideas. Running a DJ business for 20 something years. I'm good at putting things together, productions, talking on stage at a microphone. And I was like, I have some ideas for a firefighter health safety seminar. So I reached out to Chief Frieders, who was I think the chief of Pasadena, California Fire Department. So I followed him on Facebook, reached out, hey, can you have a minute to talk? Hey, I think he's in Tennessee now. Hey, I would love to bring you to New Jersey, central New Jersey. It does exist. To a firefighter health safety seminar, and I need you to be there as like the headlining instructor, because you bring such an important message, and it's something I was fortunate enough to hear you speak in Firehouse Expo, but I want New Jersey to hear it. So this first seminar, we talked about firefighter cancer prevention, and when he spoke, and we had about 250 firefighters, fire officers in attendance, you could hear a pin drop. He showed the pictures and named different firefighters that died from cancer. He spoke to everyone's soul in that audience. And I was like, this is going to be a great seminar. But I was able to lock him in. And I had Mike Daly, going back to Middlesex County Fire 1, 2000, Mike Daly and a couple other instructors I always looked up to. And Mike taught a class, Rules of Engagement, NFPA 1700. And I talked to Mike. Mike, you want to come present at our seminar? You got Project Kill the Flashover? And he says, gladly. And then I was just like, all right, we got 2 speakers. We need 1 more. And talking to my counterparts in administration, they're like, hey, we met a guy, Mike Abraham from the ATF, who spoke at the arson conference the other year. Lithium-ion batteries is one of the hottest topics. So we locked that in as the 3rd topic last year. So we ran a very successful seminar. We had different apparatus vendors outside. So you walked up and it's like, this is like a mini Wildwood almost. And you got inside, breakfast was served. We had all the vendor tables inside. And it was a great full day seminar at Middlesex College. So at the end of the seminar, I said, hey, by show of hands, if we run this again, who's gonna come back? Unanimous. Everyone put their hands up. So this year we're running the 2nd annual seminar, and I'm trying to look to see.
And to let everybody know, there is going to be links to this and the Deputy and Battalion Chief seminar in the bio after the show.
Yep. So this seminar, which will be July 13th at Edison at Middlesex College, is going to follow the same format as last year. The only thing we're one-upping is we're going to include lunch. We're moving the sponsor vendor tables into the cafeteria, because last year we had it in the hallway. It was a little tight because we had a lot of people. So same format, you're walking up. This year we have a couple command vehicle companies going to be there, so you can check out new chief vehicles, new command vehicles. Pierce, Ferrara, and E1 will be there with their new products on display. But this year we have Anthony Avillo. I think you had him on your show. I think he holds the record so far for most views, but
he does. He does. I think he's at like 2,000 now. Jesus.
I took his study group class back when I was going through the promotional process. I also took all the promotional prep classes. So, Avillo, Turpak, Montaigne, those 3 chiefs I look up to, because they gave me a very solid base through the testing process.
And in 2 weeks, I'm going to have Seaburger, and in like a month, I think I have Disbro coming from Superior.
Yeah, he's right on there. So we got Avillo, and I told Chief Avillo, I'd like you to talk about pretty much size ups and radio communications. So I'm big on sweet, short, to the point. Hey, I got Monsignor, got a 2.5 story wood frame, residential occupancy, nothing showing. Boom. Some people paint too much of a picture, or just say on scene, or just say established command. So I want him to come in, zero in a class on size ups, building construction concerns, radio transmissions. So he's developing sort of something new to present this day. So for anybody from a chief officer to an explorer, come here and learn something. The second gentleman I'm bringing in this year, like I said, last year I brought in memory of Carl Christensen for cancer, Brian Frieders. This year in memory of Chief Petrie, bringing in Jeff Dill. Jeff Dill is he's going to be flying out of Las Vegas. the night before. I'm working on his airfare and hotel arrangements, but he runs the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance. When Chief Petrie passed away, he reached out to me and actually put him in contact with Chris Petrie, Abe's wife. So she's going to hopefully be able to actually meet Jeff in person, but he's researched first responder suicides his whole life. And it's just something that we can't ignore, but it affected our department more than, a chief of department to have something like that happen, to then deal with it and then rebound and come back stronger than ever. Mental health is something that is second to none as far as taking care of your members. So we're bringing him in to talk about PTSD versus moral injury. So he's going to talk about the mental health thing. And Bob Disbrow, who another guy, I look up to him and his Seaburger and his company, but he also teaches at Middlesex College. He's big in arson investigation, fire investigation. So I want to have a hometown teacher. Daly also taught at Middlesex. So do I have a fire science teacher given as the third one? And what's great about this is if you have your fire instructor, your fire inspector, your fire official, your fire investigator, you're going to get 0.5 CEUs. It's the trifecta. So you can't beat that. And on the flyer, there's the QR code. All registrations are online. The money's going to the Institute and also to pay for it. So it's $30 a ticket, but you cannot beat this program. So I would love this to sell out. There's 430 seats in the theater. So if you could just pump that throughout the New Jersey Fire Service, let's do something. I would love for this to evolve into a multi-day event that rivals FDIC, because I think, probably less than 1% of Jersey firefighters can actually make it to FDIC. So let's bring something here, right?
You know what, Chief? Here we go. I'm gonna advertise this and the Battalion and Deputy Chiefs Association seminar until they occur from now on every week on the show.
Awesome.
$15 from you, $15 from me, and we will raffle off a ticket to each one of them.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that. We'll figure out how to make the raffle ticket. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. The logistics of that. I mean,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'm on a podcast. I got to figure out something.
There, yeah. Yeah. And then aside from the Institute in October, if you pull this flyer up, this is the powerhouse. I'll tell you. The Deputy Chiefs Association, which was the first real officers association that I became part of back in 2015. And Deputy Chief Carl Heitmeyer from Elizabeth, I saw him at the Middlesex Academy one night at a burn. And he's like, "Why don't you join the Deputy Chiefs Association?" I was like, "Because I'm a battalion chief." He says it's deputy and battalion chief. So it's a career battalion chief and deputy chief associations. And this is sort of where I could talk a little bit later on, but networking. It's all about networking your department, your coworkers with anybody and everybody they can, because you never know who might be a benefit. But Chief Heitmeyer introduced me to this association, and the president's Charlie Lind, aka the Godfather. I call myself the Godson.
Who is in the chat tonight?
Is he?
And he is giving you rave reviews.
He's an awesome, selfless individual that preaches nothing but brotherhood and fire service. And the Deputy Chiefs Association, they've run 7 seminars. It slowed down due to COVID. So 2020 and 21 and 22 last year, they didn't really do it. But they used to be at a high school in Kearney. Yep. So a few years ago, they did it at NJCU, which is where I went to college. Yep. So I love it. But we're bringing the seminar back this year, literally bigger than ever. October 5th, NJCU. Tickets are $50 a piece. It's all online registration. There's 400 tickets max. This thing is going to sell out. We're well into over 100 tickets sold out, and tickets haven't even been available for that long. But if you look at all the chiefs that will be presenting,
I see Chief Dunn. I see Captain Cirillo from the FDNY Rescue 1.
Just sign me up and let me hear Dunn speak. But we got Avila, we got Glenn Corbett, we got Jack Murphy, we got Charlie.
Aaron Heller.
Aaron Heller. Yeah, we have 10 chief officers. Got 10. They're gonna, and all the topics that they're gonna talk about we're listed here. So basically, Vinny Dunn's gonna come in. He want to talk about flame over, rollover, and flashover. Boom, he's got a half hour to literally light that place up. Now we're going to be talking about vacant building hazards. Glenn Corbett's going to speak with one of the other chiefs, because vacant buildings can kill firefighters. There's no reason it needs to. So just sort of nailing that in. We got commanding the commercial fire ground. I got command and control of complex incidents. We're bringing a chief in from New York that had the crane rescue, the collapsed crane. Alteration projects in existing buildings. Hopefully Jack Murphy can make it there with us. Command perspective, what I see is going to be a Chief Cagno, Chief Avila split class. They're going to be walking around that audience saying, hey, this is the scenario. Do you see what I see? And we're going to get perspectives of what we see. It's going to be an interactive program. And then we're going to end it up with the Fire Chiefs Roundtable, which is the 10 chiefs and then bonus chiefs will be up on stage, where it's almost like, I think Chief Brunacini did that at Firehouse Expo, and wherever he went, they would do like a giant Chiefs Roundtable. We're ending the event with that there. So you'll be able to fire out questions. We'll have microphones around the room. Ask them anything and everything. Just not too long of an answered question. But, this is literally, gentlemen of the fire service, is Chief Lynn has called it, but we're bringing together one tremendous program. So both these seminars, one for Central Jersey, which is open to the whole state, one for North Jersey, which is open to the whole state. So, you got to get yourselves to these events, because it's your life on the line. And from the probie to the chief officer to a fire director to commissioners, you can learn something at these seminars. And this one, we're working on the technical CEs. I haven't finished that one yet, but I'm sure they'll be for that too.
Now, for anybody out there in New Jersey, Fireland, when I was younger, and one of the baselines of what started my wheels turning to start this podcast about the NJ Fire Service, anywhere in the state of New Jersey, at least once a week, at least once a month, there's a small Saturday or Sunday seminar, and you have the greatest instructors from around the country and world that want to come here to New Jersey because they see this as the mecca of fire training. We're passionate. We take the time to invest in our knowledge and our education in the fire service. And when I started going to FDIC, I realized that they're putting on their program and working out the kinks and perfecting their presentation for FDIC here in New Jersey for $50 on a Saturday or a Sunday. You're getting to see the FDIC presentation. That's going to be, that you're going to spend hotel, room, board, food, meals. You're seeing these presentations. By no means am I shunning FDIC, but take the opportunity that we have in this great state to see these great presentations and seminars and conferences. It's, not everybody around the country is that fortunate, especially $30.
Exactly. You have to, and as a firefighter, regardless of your rank, if you're paid, if you're volunteer, you have to invest in yourself. You have to keep current on the times, because this is a profession that can kill you. And if you're not taking the time to take care of yourself, or if you're not a fire officer that's, getting your crews educated, or a chief officer that's getting your fire officers educated, you're not staying current with the times, things can change. Like, look at the lithium-ion battery fires. The common causes of fire, discarded cigarettes. This is what I see. Discarded cigarettes, unattended cooking, overloaded electrical cords or power strips. Those are the three things I see. And that's pretty much universal. Well, now look at New York City. One of their common causes of fire is now lithium-ion batteries, either overcharged or damaged, that are now in thermal runaway. And if you looked, hey, legacy fires, this room took 20 minutes to involve. Fires nowadays, within a few minutes. You look at the videos on YouTube, and if you're a firefighter, you don't pay attention to Instagram and YouTube videos at least once a week. I do them every day. I like watching videos. But those will take off within 30 seconds. You went from visibility to zero visibility in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's
where are they putting these e-bikes and e-scooters? They're coming in the doorway. They're putting them right by the door and plugging them into charge. So what is that doing? Look at FDNY. They had like a steady 1 or 2 roof rope rescues a year. Look at how many they've done just in 2024 so far this year.
And look at what's the cause.
Because these people are trapped inside their house because their e-bike exploded in the living room, blocking their exit.
Yeah,
It's
we had
crazy.
an e-bike fire before e-bikes were, I think, even a thing. It might have been 5 years ago. We thought it was a bathroom fan that burnt up, and once all the smoke was cleared, we found this bike, and the battery was completely melted. I'm like, oh wow, this was
Mhm,
before it was even advertised as e-bike sketch. And I'm like,
mhm.
and I'm just looking. I'm like, we really haven't seen that where I'm at, either in Iselin or Perth Amboy.
Oh,
And you got
remember
to
the
look. It's
hoverboards?
yeah, you can yeah.
It wasn't the hoverboard. It wasn't the product. It was the battery.
Yep. Yep, and then but we're not really seeing it. And then where you're at, I don't know if you're seeing it, but the the cities that you're relying on either mass transit or going green. New York City, maybe New Brunswick, but you're going to have the I forget the commuters, whatever, the non-commuters. If you're taking your e-scooter to work, that's what you're doing now. Oh, instead of driving to work a mile, I can take an e-bike or an e-scooter. And my recommendation is, and we've been on News 12 4 times in the last year, so I'm trying to iron out a story to get Mike Abraham on to explain the dangers of improperly charging or using non-regulated lithium-ion battery e-bikes, e-scooters, or whatnot. Because if you get a name brand one, UL tested or whatnot, and you use the charger and you put it in a room that has a smoke detector, that charger with that perfect battery should never go wrong. But if you're seeing in different, maybe in New York or other areas, the ones they're importing that are not regulated by UL or whatever testing, or if you have one and now, oh, we're putting aftermarket batteries in that are not regulated, or we're going to
Mhm.
give you a random charger when you're mixing the chargers
Yep.
that don't go with the appropriate batteries or device, or you're
100%.
mixing, or you even damage your bike. Oh no, I hit a pothole going off the road. I smashed the battery pack.
Damage the battery.
That might be fine. It might work for the next 6 weeks, but 6 weeks in one day, 3 o'clock in the morning, smoke detector starts going off. You're like, what's that? Boom. It takes off.
That
So
one
even if you
battery cell
have,
finally went
so,
into thermal runaway.
and that could be used an appropriately purchased and regulated device with a charger, but
Yep.
you might not realize if you damage your lithium ion battery, it's done. Bring it, you got to dispose of it. So this is a lot of educational stuff that needs to get out to the masses. And Mike
Yeah.
Abrahams and the chiefs from FDNY, the commissioner, I saw they were speaking up
Yeah.
at Washington D.C. to actually regulate lithium-ion battery products, and
Yep.
that's great because think about this: you're just in a regular house fire, not caused by a lithium-ion battery, and all of a sudden that fire impinges on what in the
On your
corner
hose.
is about, and all it's like, oh my gosh, there's now fireworks shooting off at me in this living room.
Yep.
It didn't start. The fire started with the unattended cooking and spread, but now you have an additional. It's almost like having a tank of oxygen. Oh my gosh, that's gonna, oxygen, give this
And it
fire
just
more
trapped you
O2.
in the house
Yeah,
and burned through your hose line.
yeah. So you never know. So regulating the heck out of the lithium ion battery industry is something that I know the fire service and the fire administration and I think the Congressional Fire Institute, but they're all on the money when it comes to do that. So we really got to appreciate their efforts because they're speaking to save firefighter and
Absolutely.
civilian lives. That's just something I didn't
Absolutely.
even have that in my notes to talk about today, but
Yeah.
I had Mike Abraham there, but yeah.
Well, I'm actually working on getting him on the show as well.
Oh, he is a
He's
very, very
phenomenal.
awesome and smart.
Phenomenal.
Uh, yeah,
He's
he's
just
definitely
he's just
awesome.
ATF's just got him running around too,
Well, when
flying
you're
around.
when you're investigating around the
Yeah.
country and the world, hey, listen, it's a
Yeah.
horrible perk of his job, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
Then
some other things. And like I said, you got to invest in yourself. And the higher you up, you have to invest in your members. So there's one thing
no, go ahead.
I said one thing, another thing, just I got to highlight is the New Jersey Firefighters Association.
We were going the same
We're going to talk
place.
about some associations tonight, and I mentioned some associations, but
But again,
was
this is
like,
investing in you,
yep,
yourself, and your future the day you walk into the fire service.
yep, I'm going to
We've
show
all
this
seen
form.
it.
Yeah,
We've all seen it.
we don't know if we've all seen it because there are departments that may not be giving this to their members, but every single firefighter in the state of New Jersey, career or volunteer, is eligible for membership in the New Jersey State Firemen's Association. What does that mean? It means you got to go get a basic physical, and you can flip to the other page. A basic physical with some basic information. Once it's filled out, whatever department you are in the state, you have to find out who the secretary is of your relief association because you could actually get a PDF file of this form now or get this TAN form. And for new members, it really should be on the chiefs and the municipalities when either a career volunteer, you have to go for a baseline medical. This should be going with that firefighter for that baseline medical. It comes back, it gets signed by the secretary of the Relief Association, signed by the chief of the department. It might have to get stamped by a city clerk. My city clerk stamps ours, but this is a free membership that every single firefighter in the state is entitled to. So if anything from this video today that we're doing, make sure you're in this association. And if you're not, ask the secretary of your relief association for a form. And if you're curious, you can actually call their state office in Wall. I think the lady's name is Debbie. You can call and say, hey, my name's Ed Mullen. I'm in Perth Amboy. I'm just confirming I'm in the relief association. You give numbers. They say yes. And what does that association do for you as a firefighter? Career firefighters, after 7 years of service, you're automatically an exempt firefighter for life. Volunteer firefighters, you have to make 25% of the runs for 84 months. So after 84 months of qualifying months, you get this life membership status in there. What does that association do for you? Well, primarily, when you die, it's going to take care of your family with a death benefit. Right now, that death benefit's $12,000. So I'm actually going to be going to a wake this upcoming Sunday for a past volunteer firefighter, but he's an exempt firefighter. His family or the funeral home will get a $12,000 check to help offset the cost of his funeral. And that's because he put in 84 qualifying months to serve his department, his town, his community. And that's a right he has that he's not going to see, but his family will see. The big part of that is if you die in the line of duty. If you die in the line of duty, that benefit is tripled to $36,000. It might sound crazy, but not all firefighters in the state are in the association. And if you pass away in the line of duty and you did not do that simple medical, have it signed off, enrolled, the family's not entitled to anything. So that's why I say it's very important. Get this, it's an insurance policy on your life for free because you got to get a medical anyway. But when you pass away, your family gets that death benefit, and God forbid you die in the line of duty. That's $36,000. When Don Trout, Lieutenant Trout from County Hazmat, passed away, and my father's the treasurer of the State Firemen's Association, I was able to deliver his widow the first $12,000 check. Immediate relief. You know, you don't have to put that in the bank, whatever you got to worry about right now for the cost. Then additional, within a week, an additional $24,000 I was able to give. Line of duty, he died going on a call with Middlesex Hazmat. So the state, because he was an association, gave that immediate relief to the family to take care of whatever they need in the immediate. So it's something that I must stress every firefighter in the state of New Jersey needs to be in this association. It's one thing that we all share, but it's just something you got to do. In addition, that Firemen's Association also funds about $12 million a year, the Fireman's Home. So a lot of North Jersey departments get involved with the Fireman's Home. You could probably share their Facebook page. If you follow them on Facebook, they have an awesome Facebook page.
Bootin'.
Yeah, up in Boone. So you can get involved with different picnics and events up there. But, you know, end of your life, instead of going into a nursing home with people you don't know, you could sign up and go into a nursing home with fellow firefighters. You know, end your life up there. It's a good way to go out. Yeah, but that Firemen's Association funds that. And the last part about the Firemen's Association, it makes you eligible for relief. So if you run into a financial situation, your association can give you an immediate relief. You give in whatever bills, you have to show proof of income. You know, something could happen and, you know, somebody loses a job, you're not short. They can provide you an immediate relief check, which then the state, through special relief, can bounce up to $9,000. So that immediate relief is limited to what your assets are in the association. I think Perth Amboy, it's like $2,700. So we can give you $2,700. You have to provide the financial need. If you need more, the state will approve you to give up to $9,000. And then there's a supplemental need. So, hey, listen, something horrific happened to my family. I think the state can give you supplemental aid up to $21,000. But in order to get that, what do you need to do? You need to take that medical and get that form submitted. So just one association, I just really wanted to put it out there. And this is the association that we go to Wildwood every year, where there's delegates and life members. And that's the September convention. It's the actual State Firemen's Association convention. So, you know, I just had to put that out there because you all have to do that. No excuses not to. And if you're a chief hiring somebody, hand them that form. They need a pension medical, you know, they need a regular medical, and the Firemen's Association. It's not hard to do. If you do it up front, you got it done.
And the link to the New Jersey Firemen's Association will be in the notes and bio on this after the show is over.
Okay. And then the other association I want to talk about, I mentioned the 5 families that make up the New Jersey Fire and EMS Institute.
It's kind of like the mafia.
We're New Jersey, right? So, but definitely no crime here. But one association that doesn't matter, career or volunteer, that a lot of fire officers, hey, you're a newly elected lieutenant in your volunteer company, or a newly promoted lieutenant in your career department. What associations can you join? I can't be in the Chiefs Association, but the New Jersey State Fire Chiefs Association. That's President Tony Correa. If you're a fire officer, lieutenant, captain, battalion chief, deputy chief, assistant chief, you name it, you can be a member of the State Fire Chiefs Association. I think the dues are $25 a year. We'll share the link. They do a training session the Thursday morning of Wildwood. And they also meet, I think, once a month or once a quarter around the state. So they're all about trying to provide mentorship to new fire officers and whatnot. But that's an association every fire officer, career and volunteer in the state should be a part of. Have a purchase order, have your municipality pay for it, get them in. They send out newsletters. They got a Facebook page. So just something to get involved in. Once again, invest in yourself. There's also the State Volunteer Fire Chiefs, not as active as the other associations, but if you're a volunteer for New Jersey, I think President Kosmosky from Saraville, who I think was one of my instructors at Fire 1 too, now that I think about it. And they also got John Sean, who represents the Volunteer Fire Chiefs in the Institute. Another association where we were at the seminar, talk about, this is the year of the seminar, 2024.
Yeah.
We'll coin that right here, but the International Association of Fire Chiefs Eastern Division, which is made up the 5 states that we're surrounding. They ran a seminar down in Mount Laurel, which comes to Jersey every 5 years. So you got to travel to either Delaware, Maryland, New York, or Pennsylvania each of the next years. But that seminar was phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic.
They had a mixer the night before the seminar. They had hatchet throwing, barbecue.
I did not know about that.
It was phenomenal.
I only went down for Friday.
I threw hatchets with Chief Frank Lieb, Dan Madrikowski, and to watch Chief Lieb make fun of Dan Madrikowski for not being able to stick the axe. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but that was, like I said, we sat in that seminar, and that's the first time I saw Frank Lieb present in public, and I was like, this guy is awesome. And then we had the 2 chiefs from Houston speak. It was like Clive and Mo.
Clyde Gordon and Mo Davis.
But literally, and that was a packed house, so it was a great seminar. And I think Chris Burnett's the New Jersey director. Jim Yates is the executive director, who they're both on the Institute. And then I think Joe Cunningham's the president for the Eastern Division. So that's an association. Chief officers can get in. I do have the information. I joined that a few years ago. I think the annual dues are like $215, so it's on the higher end. But I tell you, every day I get this IFC digest email where chiefs can post a problem and you'll get responses. So it's a network of chiefs, which and another one of the reasons why I'm doing the show today is you were there when the IFC president was there. Chief Butler, right? Yeah. Chief Butler, out of nowhere, gave his life story. And afterwards, we took a picture with him. I'm like, I've never seen anybody, I know lots of presidents, but I've never seen them, talk about, where they came from. And his story blows everybody else's story away. Coming from another country with your brothers, being veterans. It was just truly moving. But for him, I thanked him for his service, and we took a picture with him. An awesome guy. But I'm like, you just opened up my eyes. At least people get to know who you are instead of just the name. And that's sort of where it was. I'm here today. He said, I didn't want to talk about myself, but here I am, open up my heart and soul to you here. But but I said he led that association across the whole entire United States and then some.
And again, that was another. You could hear a pin drop in that room when he was speaking about who he was and where he came from.
Exactly, amazing. So anywhere he speaks,
it was a complete accident that he took that.
Exactly,
to be a fireman.
Just to hear someone's story. But I said, thank you for telling your story. I had no idea, but it gave me a whole different outlook on. Maybe I'll do something like this with you here today. The other 2 associations, which are the ones I'm definitely the most active with, are the New Jersey Deputy and Battalion Chiefs Association, which I mentioned how Chief Heitmeyer got me in there, but this is where I go into networking is key, because when I joined that association in 2015, we were meeting in Newark. You pay your money for your Redigio, and I love my Redigio. I love to eat. So good. So, but those meetings, I noticed there were probably about 90% retired guys, 10% active guys, and those numbers are changing now. It's getting more
Absolutely.
closer to 50-50 active, because Charlie's growing his association. We're getting the word out, but that's open to career deputy, battalion chiefs, and chiefs. But we meet the first Monday of the month, except during the summer. And when I was at one of those meetings, I met Chief Lou Pepe, who's the director of the Morris County Fire Academy. And this was right before I got my second SAFER grant back in 2015. And he invited me up to Morris County Fire Academy to see Jersey City's orientation day. And when I walked up there, I saw all these firefighters in their same navy blue uniform, and they had them do push-ups and sit-ups and leg flutters on orientation day. And I'm like, I thought this is police academy stuff, because I've been to other academies, but there was never a PT curriculum. There was never drill sergeant. So I'm like, I like this. And I think I might have been there with Chief Petrie. It's like, I like this a lot. It's a little bit more money, but I like this a real lot. The firefighters that may get hired with a sense of entitlement go breeze through academy. Did they pass the test, but did they truly earn this career? So we sent our 8 SAFER grant hires back in 2016 to the Morris County Fire Academy, and I think I'm gonna call out one of my firefighters right now, but his name's Mike Gregory, and I was there walking. All the recruits were in formation, and I'm walking around, and I hear the recruit say, "Recruit Gregory, what's in your mouth?" And he had gum in his mouth. And I was like, he had him take it out, hold it up like there. "What's in your mouth?" "Gum in my mouth, sir." "Why do you have gum in your mouth?" He goes, "I want fresh breath, sir." And I had to keep a straight face. Why I love humor, and I had to maintain a straight face because he answered honestly. And I was just like, then they paid the price, because they said, "Did we tell you to chew gum?" No. So it's a form of freelancing. But the product I saw come out of that class, they teach, not only PT, you're going in, if you don't have weight to lose, you're still losing weight. But PT is part of a 14, 13, 15-week program. It's going to condition that firefighter. The discipline and the drill sergeants, they're going to give you that mentality. Sir, yes, sir. I'm not military, but I respect the military like no other. And having recruits now come with saying that, it almost like, I'm like, wow. So now since 2016, to our most recent class, in this recent class we sent to Union County Fire Academy, they follow the same PTC curriculum. We were able to send our in-house trained PTC drill instructors to assist over there, but they did the PT, the passing, the running, the push-ups, the sit-ups. They had to hit all the benchmarks. But these firefighters are coming out in the best shape of their life. And fast forward 8 years since that first class, these are the firefighters that I see working out in the gym with me. I work out in the gym with my firefighters at least 3 days a week. They're on top of healthy leading, but I see the whole mentality. So over the course of 25 years of going to academies with a certain curriculum, my workers' comp injuries are significantly down. I just see a different type of product, and I love the results. So I'm a big advocate for PT. Like I said, 3 days a week, I'm in the gym with our firefighters, just for my own fitness. And then, so that was just a sidebar from being a part of the deputy chiefs. Hey, I never would have known that there was another type of curriculum if I never listened to Chief Heitmeyer. So build your network. And the last association is the Career Fire Chiefs Association. They do an annual seminar in October. It was in West Orange for many years. They're working on the location for the one this year. But that association is just career chiefs. It's 95% active with 5% volunteer. But this is where we discuss the true issues and good things happening in the fire service, sharing that knowledge. I was able, through that association and deputy chiefs, to get a seat on the Civil Service Fire Advisory Board. So now twice a year, I get to go to Trend to bring up the concerns of, hey, this testing process, the majority think it should be like this or like this. I'm able to actually have a voice now representing these two associations and they listen to it. So that the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission, very receptive, awesome staff,
Yeah.
but they're trying to help us. So let us help us, make us better. So it's
Yeah.
networking. And if I never met these people, I would have never been on this advisory board to actually be able to represent. And I'm very proud to represent a lot of career fire departments with the advisory board. So, but like I said, those are 5 associations. Those were the 5 families that make up the institute, which are supposed to meet, I think, quarterly. Right now, the president of the institute is Jim Smith, Ocean City's fire chief, son of Jim Smith, Philadelphia legends. Jim Smith just got Ocean City a Class 1 ISO fire department. Awesome, a goal of mine.
Outstanding.
But he's retiring. I saw the article that he's be retiring, but he served as our president for the institute. So we'll see if he's going to continue, or if we can convince someone else to step up, and we'll get that institute to do this annual event and then expand. And possibilities are endless. It's what we're going to put into it to see what kind of results we want.
Now, again, this comes back to invest in yourself, invest in the organization, invest in the fire service as a whole. Don't just be
Exactly.
there and oh yeah, I heard this or I heard this. Like you look at right now the big OSHA fire brigade standard change. You look at NFPA changes every 3 years. They change. But if you don't get involved, you're never going to know. Your concerns are never going to be heard. And it's all getting involved and understanding how, let's face it, it's politics. And I was listening to a podcast the other day where Jon Stewart was on, and he was talking about his experiences going down in politicking and lobbying for um, the firefighter cancers and military cancer support and stuff like that, post 9/11. Like he testified to Congress. You can look it up on YouTube. And he was talking about how flabbergasted he was that when he started getting involved in that world and the lobbying world and the legislative world, he's sitting there with all these lobbyists and the congressional committee that they were testifying to went, okay, yeah, we see the need for it. We don't have time to write that, so go ahead and write that for us, and we'll get it passed. Well, now you take that to the NFPA lobbying. So now, if you're lobbying NFPA to get a change made, and you're a manufacturer, or you're a legal guru, or you're an insurance guru, and there's no fireman speaking at the table about how things really are in the world of fire service, and it's only manufacturers who want to sell a product and insurance people that don't really want us doing things the way they need to be done to do this job. And then there's legal eagles that are like, whoa, no. There's no fireman saying, hey, this is how we need to do the job, though. And this is what we need to be able to do that job to keep people safe in their beds at night. If we're not at the table, our voice isn't getting heard. We need to get involved. We need to invest in the fire service.
Exactly. And while we talked earlier, it's usually the more senior guys that you see going to the associations, and then at your monthly meeting, this is the report from this, and this, and this. We do
Yep.
need, our generation, and then the next generation beyond us. It's not what the fire service can do for you, but what can you do for the fire service? I see a big change in these next generations. Not with my probies, because I see them all commenting here, but
Yeah,
it shouldn't be what can the fire department do
do
for
for
me.
you.
It's what can you do for the fire service. So
Exactly.
all it takes is, and like you mentioned Chief Yar earlier, he comes to the chief's meetings. His township has become probably like the third or fourth largest municipality in the state, and he was working with 8 firefighters. He's hiring a class to put another company in service, and then probably another one. So he has the support of his commissioners, but he has a big area and a
Yeah.
major workload. So, he's getting the job done down there, but he's somebody that only took over as chief recently,
Yeah.
and he's making an immediate impact. So we need chief officers all the way down to firefighters to step up to get involved, not only in your association, but as a union or as a volunteer fire company,
Yeah.
get involved in community events, get involved in everything. Just get involved in something, but also
Yeah.
make sure you get involved in taking care of yourself and making yourself safer every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or
Yeah, yeah. I think now's a good time because I didn't do the shout out in the morning, but you got that family picture
I
of
do.
my kids because there's another key uh, thing
There.
that I have going for me is I got to give a shout out to my wife because it wasn't for her holding down the house and taking care of the kids, I would not be available to go to all these association meetings. To be on two fire departments, and maybe I'll talk about Island for a few minutes after
Sizzlin'
this.
Island.
Sizzling Island and all the fun I have here, but I got two beautiful kids, and like I said I'm Ed the fourth. My son is Ed the fifth, but we have different initials. So last year at our career day in Perth Amboy, I brought him. I think he just really wanted to not go to school, uh, but he was able to see the fire service, and I think that was the moment that he saw firefighters work 24 hours on, 72 off, and make X amount of dollars. Maybe I want to be a firefighter. I'm
I
like, you
can
don't
buy a
have a
lot of candy that
I
way.
was like, you don't have a choice. When you turn 14, you will be an explorer. And back to Iselin. I live in Iselin. I'm a ex chief in 2014. And if you switch to the other picture, I'm a ex chief in 2014, and currently I still very active. I drive the trucks all the time, and I'm also the chairman of the board of fire commissioners. So I'm also an elected official. So I get to see lots of different types of fire departments. But this picture
Jesus.
right here was probably one of my favorite. Those two pictures are my probably two favorite pictures in existence. This one, when I lived at my last house, we had a little laundry room. Yeah, we had a laundry room fire on the next block over, and my wife knew where the call was, so I'm on the first due engine. My father's on the second due engine, and my son's there on his 2 feet walking up. And there was like a moment someone snapped his picture, but if you look at the bottom of his coat, it says Mullen Jr. the number two.
I thought there was a
Right,
two
yeah,
there.
so there's a Mullen Jr. So when I think when I found out that we were having a boy, and I'm the last male Mullen in the family. My grandma had 7 kids, but 5 were my aunts, and then my uncle had a daughter. So I was literally the last male Mullen, and I had to carry the name Ed on. Like
Yeah.
Eddie didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Not happening. So at the ultrasound at Robert Wood, when we saw that there was a
Oh.
member there, I was crying in the hospital, and I think at the baby shower, someone presented a set of turnout gear. Made me bawl at that baby shower at the Colonial Firehouse. But they gave us a turnout gear because when I was little, I don't know if when you were little, but I had a little set of turnout gear that
I
said it's in
did.
District 9. So it was awesome. And then flip back to the other picture because then Eddie outgrew his, and then it fit in Maddie. So Maddie's my little ballerina and dancer, and Eddie's my gamer. But like I said, that's she now fit in that gear. But this is back. I was still a battalion chief, so this was probably 2015 or 16, and the year I was chief. Think about this. I had the unmarked Tahoe in front of my house, and I had the marked Iselin Chief truck Tahoe in my house. So I'm
Speaking of
somebody that.
speaking of unmarked Tahoe in front of your house, I wanted to bring up after you're done this, I want to bring up a video that surfaced on social media a couple months
All right.
ago.
Yeah. So, but like I said, if it wasn't for my wife being able to take care of my beautiful kids, then I wouldn't have the time. So I got to say thank you. So I'll fast forward to 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 14 seconds to my shout out to my beautiful wife, Ashley. I love you, and I don't say it enough, but there you go.
So a video on social media surfaced a few
Hmm.
months back. Are you trying to get into law enforcement as well? Neighbor's car
Oh,
was getting stolen, getting broken into, or their house was getting broken into. You jumped in the Tahoe and took off down the street.
oh, that was mine. They were trying to break into our
Oh, they're
house.
trying to. Oh,
Yeah.
your
So
house.
yeah. It was some I don't know what their problem was, but the neighbor knocked on my door and said that they're trying to break in your house. So we went after them, and the Woodbridge police were able to arrest them. So yeah, but and there was another time. Yeah, no, hey, listen, I have police due to my uh my grandfather being the police chief. God rest
Yeah.
his soul. I have that detective blood in me, so I'm able to hold it down. But you know, Iselin I've been on. If it wasn't for Iselin, I would have never had the path lead me to Perth Amboy. But
Yeah.
and they sort of go hand in hand because I served as chief in Iselin 2014. So, and I was under my dad. My dad was chief. So 2010, 11, 12. And I didn't get you this picture, but you know, I had two chief trucks there. So he would be in chief truck. I was deputy chief truck. So we would pull up to everything. So if you're getting to run a fire department with your father, like I don't think it could get any better than that. And other than when I'm riding with my son one day.
Yeah.
But you know, we had a lot of fun. But I learned a tremendous amount of things from all the members there. A lot of the members that I started with there. Like I said, you had Chief Mullen. He was there now. You know, I had AJ, somebody I looked up to growing up because he was always the cool guy that was ready in the firehouse, and then his brother Chris, and you know, Andy, who's down in Florida. I have a friend Brian, who's a captain in Linden. I have Matt, who's a captain in another town. But all the explorers all made something greater themselves, and a lot of them became police officers too. So I had a lot of great people. So now I'm sitting there as the 41-year-old. And we have a very big Explorer post. Our Explorer post there has 30 members. There's a waiting list to get on it. So,
Oh, wow.
you know, volunteer departments for recruitment and retention. If you don't have an Explorer post, then I don't know what to tell you other than get one. Have your junior firefighters, have your Explorers, because last year I think 6 of them turned 18, all graduated the academy. So now when I go to the firehouse for a call, I see myself in their shoes, like, oh, but now I'm looking at like, oh man, which old guy did I fit the shoes of when I was 18 years old? And I'm there just and then I get to write. I convinced Carl Heitmeyer to join back up. He lives 5 houses from me, so I get to ride on a fire truck when I'm not in Perth Amboy on calls, and then my dad comes out of the other house. So you know, I enjoy this 24/7, 365 is nothing but in my blood. But like I said, I've all the stuff I did in Iselin, equipment we've bought. As I moved into administration in Perth Amboy, having that experience and knowing different products and vendors, I was able to really use that to benefit Perth Amboy. So a lot of stuff goes hand in hand. And if it wasn't for Perth Amboy with that work schedule, you know, 1 on 3 off for that first half of my career, I would have been at Iselin around a lot. So, you know, they both definitely great fire departments. And, you know, I'm proud to be a member of both. And, you know, proudest to be this following the legacy of my great grandfather and my grandfather and my father. You know, it's just awesome. I get all the smarts from my mom. So through the testing process, you know, I shout out to her and my father and everybody else. But it's just been one incredible. And I'm in my 20th year with the fire department in Perth Amboy. And I think I have a little less time in Iselin because I had to have a break in service when I moved out of town. But it's like I said, I love what I do, and seeing all the people in front of us that did something, it's we've been blessed. So now it's time for us to pay it forward. And I'm on a level where I could have a lot of influence and I can help a lot of people. You know, I've been fortunate. A lot of people, when we get our grants, hey, who's your grant company? I learned how to write these grants.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've shared my grants with other chief officers and said, listen, I will help you write a grant. You know, there's neighboring towns. I says, listen, I've gotten 3 safer grants in the last 10 years. Little ones to big ones. I will help you because grant writing for AFG grants, safer grants is extremely, 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 extremely competitive.
Yep.
That's all I got to say about that. And shout out to.
And I've been a peer reviewer down there in Emmitsburg.
It's not something like, oh, we're just going to hire this grant company and they're going to award us, you know, 100,000. No, it's really difficult and you got to compete. So I've been fortunate to take all that knowledge and put it into nice, you know, package and just deliver on things that I promised to my members. And I appreciate all our firefighters, all of our captains, all of our battalion chiefs, and all the volunteers in my volunteer company. And it's just been one heck of a ride as I'm, you know, 20 years in. I just can't believe how much time goes by because, you know, you blink your eyes, it's like, oh, I'm 5 years in, I'm 10 years in. It's like, you know, enjoy the time while you're here, but do something with it.
Yeah.
You know, so you can have a long and healthy retirement. Were you able to pull up that Washington Street video at all?
No, that was one of the ones, but I have this.
Uniform 8.
Yeah, and then they're coming down on it.
Okay.
Yeah, right after
Do you need the rehab cell?
I took over as part
Inaugural one area will be about to work on reactor.
one of the first fires that was one of the first fires that first month. So I went from working 1 on 3 off to like, all right, Chief Petrie, you're becoming chief. You need a car too. I was like, I live nearby. Let's see if we could, take this department to the next level. And first month I was in days, that was one of the first fires we had. And I'm like, if going to days means we're gonna be like burning churches down, I'm like, what the heck is the rest of my career going to bring? But that was a fire that I'll never forget. And just like, wow, so we used to have jobs like that very frequently. And like I said, just we've come a full circle to where we need to be and a successful plan. But I'm able to share what I've done. And the crazy thing is I got my position at the age of 34. Now I'm 41.
Yeah.
Most people, when they become a career chief, you're in your 50s, you're at the end of your career. I have an 11-year-old and 12-year-old kid. I'm staying until they're out of college. So I'm here for the long haul. So I'm here to network, and I gave some shout outs, but there's a lot of big city chiefs that have retired that I made friends with, and now I'm making friends with their successors. And like they look at me like, who are you? It's like, aren't you young? I'm like, yeah, but I've been here for like almost a decade. They don't understand my story. But I'm like, listen, I'm here to help you. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. We have this network of chiefs. We have this network of firefighters.
Yeah.
And just it's good to bring it all together and sum it all up.
All right. Definitely. Now, if there's nothing else, we'll get into the Jersey questions.
Sure. I don't even know what these questions are, so I'm not prepped. So.
Oh, I didn't send them to you? I'm sorry.
No.
All right. Here we go. The weekly Jersey questions. Number 1, is it Taylor ham or pork roll?
I order my pork roll, egg, and cheese with extra ketchup and salt and pepper.
All right. I'm not a ketchup guy, but I'll give you that because you called it pork roll.
I got to just shout out the career chiefs at their one seminar. They had 2 trays, exact same sandwiches. One said Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. One said pork roll, egg, and cheese. So I tried one of each, and they're both good. But but it's pork roll, egg, and cheese.
Absolutely. Number 2, the best pizza.
Best pizza? I gotta say Scorantino's. Extra sauce.
All right.
You gotta get it with extra sauce. Whether you go to the South Amboy one, since the Perth Amboy original one left, or you come to the one right by fire headquarters. It's a soft, soupy pizza. You get the extra sauce, which I only tried 2 years ago. Next level sweet, next level saucy.
All right. I'm gonna have to give that a whirl. Do you go to the beach or do you go down the shore?
I would have to say the shore.
Down the shore. All right.
Yeah, we're gonna go down to the shore for the day. That's what I say.
What is your beach?
I'm not really although I was a DJ for 20 years, I'm not really a club beach pumper.
Well, you go to the beach. What
You
beach
go to the beach, but I said we're going down to the shore.
Yeah. What beach of preference? Del Mar, Manasquan.
I think we go to
LBI.
Cape May is my July vacation, so I love Cape May. But if we're going for a day, which I took a lot of days off in the summer, we're going to Seabright. Seabright's a little private. Go past Sandy Hook, get there early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe 500 foot wide, that one little section of private public beach, but you pay, you get there, beautiful.
That area of the town isn't that wide.
No, exactly. You can see water to water.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what those houses cost, but
yeah. Does Central Jersey really exist?
Of course, I said that from the beginning. We are Central Jersey as can be. I don't know really where the dividing line is because Essex is definitely North Jersey.
Absolutely.
Right? Middlesex
Union
is definitely Central Jersey, but I think people argue parts of Middlesex is definitely Central Jersey.
I would say like Iselin to me has a Central Jersey feel, but Perth Amboy has a North Jersey feel to me. So like Perth Amboy Carteret feels more North Jersey to me.
I don't know. I just know the North Jersey because when I go to meetings and they're in North Jersey, I know I have to drive to North Jersey.
Yeah.
So I assume like I call Monmouth County like South Jersey, but I think that's still grouped in with Central Jersey. Those couple of counties, but I think Perth Amboy is literally on the Raritan River, Raritan Bay. That I think could be the dividing line between South and North Jersey for people that aren't from Central Jersey. But
Yeah.
Central Jersey is where we're doing the Institute seminar. So I legally declared it a place.
Exactly. Thank you. All right. Who are some of your mentors?
I got to start with my father. Without him and all the stuff he did, I never would have been a firefighter. But he also followed in his family members' footsteps. So, just looking up to him and being able to ride an Iselin with him is an honor, and hopefully I made him proud. Who else do I look up to? Chief Montaigne, retired. I went to his retirement ceremony. He was one of the people in promotional prep that I did the one-on-one classes with. So him and Chief Turpak and Chief Avila with study group. So those three individuals definitely awesome. They definitely did good for New Jersey. Made a lot of great fire officers. So you got to respect that they delivered.
Absolutely.
I got all my Fire One instructors that I still remember. I mentioned, Mike Daly. I had some other instructors that are retired now that I'll always remember, like Bob Minkler. When we got our fire boat, he goes, I put a quote up there. I was like, what's in water that puts out fire? A fireboat. That was an awesome Fire One like dad joke, but I respect that. And the guys in Iselin, Carl Heitmeyer, who I get to now ride with. He joined the fire service before I was born, but he was one of my Fire One instructors, and now he's one of my co-pilots. And I mentioned Terry Kennedy, because without him I would have really opened my eyes to making a career of this. And no, I gotta say I look up to actually like even my whole department, even my probies, because they're the ones that are going to get to do all the action now. So they're not my mentors, but those are people I'm actually rooting for. And a business administrator back maybe 10 years ago, he says that you have to be a cheerleader for your members. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but if you're a chief of department or you're in charge of your department's social media page, we didn't talk about this. This is bonus content, but you got to get pictures of what your members are doing. The exciting stuff they're doing. If there's a ceremony, you have to put that on social media. And if you have a municipality, make sure it's cleared with the public information officer, and make sure you never put anything bad up there that OSHA can see. So really screen what you put up there. But this generation, my generation, the generations after us, we have strict social media policy. You're not putting pictures while you're on duty. So the stuff they're doing in training or a notable incident or some situation, if I'm able to translate that into a story, it's about my members. I want to put them on a pedestal. So the louder you can cheer for your department, the better the public's going to perceive you as. The better all the departments are going to be like, oh, look, let's try that, or let's network. So we try to be a role model on social media. But if it wasn't for that BA saying, listen, and this was after Abe passed away, like you got to really be a cheerleader. So if there's anything, if you're a chief officer, you better have your pom poms and cheer for your members, because that's they get to see it and they reshare it. And some of our posts get 250,000 views. Stuff we share online it goes viral. And one other thing, if you are running social media, because I've seen this in the past, be very careful who runs your social media page. Because sometimes it can be one-sided. There's 4 shifts, but hey, 2 or 2 did this, 2 or 2 did this. The other 3 tours are going to say, what is this? So you won't see me post anything on our Facebook page that says, unless they did, like I said, Group 2, Battalion 2, they replaced the floor. They get special recognition. But you see, hey, members of the department did this because we are a team. And at the end of the day, we got each other's backs, and you gotta respect that. And you gotta represent them to the public, but you're able to scream that in social media. So I'm big on Facebook, not really on Instagram or anything else. But listen, that as you move up in your department, raise your members up in the image of the public. Just a little side little tidbit.
Absolutely. You know what? A pat on the back means a lot, and it goes a lot further than people realize. All right. Second to last question. Almost done with you, Chief.
Until I think of something else to talk about. Yep.
Proudest achievement on the job.
My proudest achievement on the job.
Or accomplishment.
We have had so many. I just think you name the fire department. I'm just proud of everybody there and everything we've accomplished. I don't know if there's one specific thing I could point out. What's the most recent thing? The most recent thing was when I got a notification from Booker's office that says, "Congratulations, you got $3.6 million." I remember paging my admins. I started crying and I read it to them, and it's like, we accomplished something amazing. And here we are this past Friday. Those firefighters graduated from the academy. So that's my new highlight. So it's almost like I've had a ton of proud moments. It's just like, what's going to happen next? And somebody asked me yesterday, what's next? We got our supervision, we got our staffing. Well, we're going to build a firehouse next because we're going to put a second firehouse up on the other side of town. So I don't know if I had a specific proud moment, because I just really never thought about it like that, because it's really cumulative.
Well, because you keep pushing the bar up higher and higher.
Yeah, just don't ever settle with don't ever get complacent. Just keep pushing. Yeah, exactly. Keep pushing the bar until
keep pushing the bar. Yeah.
And if you can't go any further, then jump on top of that bar and find another one.
Yeah, definitely. Bend the bar.
but the grant, I guess if you sum it up, the grant work and the successful grant, we've got a lot of grants turned down too. So don't get me wrong there, but just the grants we've been awarded to let this department get to what it is today is probably the proudest thing, because without that, we wouldn't be where we are today. So
definitely. Absolutely. Now, what advice do you have for the fire service? I mean, we've hit some key points tonight, but what do you have?
Yeah, we said a bunch of stuff today. This I mentioned it in the swearing in speech. Every time we do a swearing in, I'd sort of take the prior swearing in, highlight stuff, and then rewrite it so it's fresh. But I said this job, this profession, this career of volunteer, is something that can possibly kill you. So for something that can possibly kill you, you need to train your butts off. You need to do everything you can to prepare yourself to be the best firefighter you can be, so that when that possibility of a very bad situation occurs, the training that you did will give you the probability that you're going to get out. There's times I almost got killed in fires back in the day, and by luck, I think I got it. It wasn't training; it was luck. I got out of some of these situations. But I don't want my firefighters to ever be in those situations to begin with. I want to give them the supervision, the additional staffing, the best equipment to be able to get out of the situation. So if you're in the fire service and you're not watching videos, you're not watching YouTube, you're not busting the chops being the Monday morning quarterback for some horrible situation that then it doesn't get on that stuff. Get involved in your department, invest in your department. Some people are content with being firefighters their whole life. That's cool, but master your craft as firefighters. Those that want to advance, read the books.
Firefighter.
Read the books.
Be the best fire.
If you got, I'm a big supporter of higher education. If you are able to, and you can, go get an associate's degree in fire science. Jersey City University, they got a bachelor degree in fire science. They use the promotional books on the civil service exam as their curriculum books. So if you're getting out of high school and you want to be a firefighter, that's all you want to be. Don't get $200,000 in debt to go to some college to get a random degree. You should probably get a scholarship or go to a county college or Jersey City for a lot cheaper, and it will benefit you in the long run, because now you know the textbooks inside out. You know how to read them. You know how to study them. You know how to test for them, and it's going to make you that much more of a well-educated firefighter. The experience is going to come over time. Yep. And it's just like me, like working 1 on 3 off. 75% of the time, I was not going on calls. But guess what? I got to do that in Iselin. So for a career firefighter that works 1 on 3 off, I got 1 year on the job, but you only worked 25% of that year. You got 1 year technically, but like for me, it's like I got 4 times the amount of experience in 1 year because I was going on calls every day. So the people that want to volunteer on their days off, cool. If they don't, cool. But you could do whatever you want, but invest in yourself. And then when you get to a point where You can then start sharing information. Even if you become, hey, I'm 3 years on my company. Hey, I'm going to become a lieutenant. Yeah, guess what? Now learn how to become a lieutenant, a supervisor, take more classes, learn how to run a scene, learn
Yeah.
how to do size ups, and now it's your job to train those probies that are 3 years younger than you. But it's just gonna cycle of the fires will always come, and our career here is only so much time. So enjoy every minute of every day, of every shift, of every week, every job. Be as safe as you can be, train as much as you can be. Don't burn any bridges. Another thing. Don't be talking smack about people, because if they don't deserve it, it gets back to you, it's going to mess up. I'm big on reputation. You build up the reputation of a fire department. And I almost tell my guys that badge has the city seal and the city name and the title on it. You represent everything. So what you do
Yep.
can affect the reputation. So always think what you're doing. To everybody out there, I just wish everybody has healthy, long careers. One thing we didn't mention, I told you I segued to something else, but the firefighter cancer screening, through the Career Chiefs
Yeah.
Association, we're about to implement all career firefighters in the state. It's going to be mandatory that they get screened for cancer once every 3 years, once you have 3 years on the job. We just set up the contract to start getting guys screened in July. We're going to have to now learn, I don't know how many career firefighters are there in New Jersey? 10,000. I don't know. I'm just going to throw up 10,000 hypothetical
Sure.
number. But there's, statistically speaking, out of those 10,000, if everyone goes for their cancer screening, which we have to encourage them to go to, it's not mandatory that they go, but it's mandatory that we offer it. Get screened. A lot of us, if not everybody in the fire service, knows somebody in their family or a firefighter that died from cancer. Those 9/11 deaths from or the FDNY related WTC illnesses, the cancers killed more members than died on 9/11.
Yeah.
So cancer is going to be the number one killer of firefighters for years
Mhm.
to come. So get yourself screened, and if you're a volunteer, go for a regular medical screening. Just get screened for cancer, but also know if you're a leader, there's going to be, statistically speaking, members of your department or members they get diagnosed with a cancer. But if you're in a position of leadership, now's the time to educate yourself on how to get them help. Talk
Yep.
to the firefighter cancer support network, because these next couple of years, as this implements, we're going to see a big uptick in this, but we're going
Mhm.
to save those firefighters' lives.
Absolutely.
And same thing, go for your Captain Buccio or whatever other competing company medical every year. Take care of
Absolutely.
yourself, not only mentally but physically. Stay healthy, and just be ready for anything that could be thrown at you at any moment. Be prepared for everything
Yeah.
and anything. But that's pretty much it.
Well, Chief, what do you think?
It was fun. I can't believe we almost hit the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
I just did over there. I got pork roll and tostones or maduros. My members of the firehouse know I love to eat. And, and shout out to Manny,
Game.
who's probably the best chef in the firehouse. I love Spanish food. I'll tell you that. It is second to none. So, I gotta invite everybody out there. Come to Perth Amboy. Come to the waterfront. Come with an appetite and see me. We'll tell you all the restaurants in town. But you can go 100 days in a row at 100 different restaurants and be full every single day. And
You and I, Verdizio, you're speaking my language.
that's salt. You got to have like 6 water bottles in the middle of the night when you wake up.
You, me, and the wives are gonna have to go out to Verdizio one night.
we definitely will after this thing. But also
Yeah.
just a shout out to FMBA Local 258, our fire officers. I see them representing here right there. And then we also got our firefighters are IFF Local 286. So shout out to them. I get the best of both worlds. I get to go to 2 Valor Award dinners. So shout out to Ed Donnelly, and also I never give a shout out other people I look up to. The Division of Fire Safety, the Chief State Fire Marshal Director Rich McCuskey, awesome individual, and his staff up there. Tim Weiss and Steve Dill. Those guys are doing great things for the fire service up there to make sure that we're safe. So, a lot of people I probably should have mentioned as mentors. It's not clicking because I talk so much today.
No, hey, man, it's awesome. And
shout out to you because you're doing something pretty cool here.
Well,
And
thank
shout
you.
out to
I
the boat.
appreciate
Shout out to the boat. My backdrop. The backdrop right there.
I want to go out on that boat. That's badass.
Maybe one day.
Now, have you seen the shirt yet?
I can't. What was it? Pompose, not gas.
Yeah, it's
Very
Jersey.
nice. Very nice.
And apparently, according to James Ashby, I have to get you a schmedium.
No, I'm XL. This is XL I'm wearing right here. Yeah. Like I
Alright,
got
Chief.
I like the full 4 shifts. I know they know like 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's my time in the gym, and each shift has a couple firefighters that I pretty much routinely work out with, and 2 of them. Oh, there's those Del Foss right there. Him and Wicks. They're trying to start up a company called Firefighter Fit. It's actually FFF. Now type exactly what it's for right now because I'm all spent with my information, but I'm gonna see if I could get them a table at the Institute seminar. But they're gonna be out there, and almost like Rob from New Brunswick, Pip.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had 555 Fitness.
yeah.
Where they're there to educate, make firefighters healthier. Fit for fires. There we go. If I got a nice shirt,
There
it's
you
just it's upstairs. It's out there. Everybody's helping them out. But listen, we got guys. They're paying it forward. These new probies, they're gonna train them on different exercises and whatnot, and they're jacked too. So they fit the part, but they're here for the benefit of the fire service. So the more members like that I have step up to do
Again,
great things.
invest in yourself, invest in your department, invest in the business.
Exactly. We're fortunate. Let's take care of everybody.
Absolutely. All right, Chief. I'm gonna bump you to the backstage area. We'll say goodbye off there, and we'll say goodbye to everybody. Say goodnight.
Thanks for having me. And July
Absolutely.
13th, come out, support the Fire and EMS Institute. It's going to be well worth your time. Let's sell that out. And then we'll see you again in October at the Deputy Chief Seminar.
Absolutely. I will talk to you in a second. All right, everybody. That wraps up run number 18 with Chief of Department Ed Mullen Jr. of Perth Amboy. Next week, we have a very special guest near and dear to my heart to celebrate Father's Day weekend. My father, Nick Palumbo Sr. We will get into that a little next week. Until then, stay safe. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.